We got lesbians, riots, and a black man on a dragon. Who needs a long intro? Welcome back to the world of Westeros. We are breaking down episode 6, season 2 of House of the Dragon, titled The Small Folk. Spoiler warning, obviously. My name is BK Beloved. I talk about sports, among other things, this obviously being among other things. And while you're here, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. If you actually want NFL talk, the NFL previews are out. Just click on the channel, you'll see them there. Now back to Westeros. I'm gonna break this down scene by scene-ish. We get our first appearance of the Lannister army, and they made it a point to show us that the Lannisters are generational dickheads. It didn't just start with Tywin. They've been dickheads for generations upon generations. His pride has pride, to quote King Viserys, pulled up to the Westerlands and sent a message to the king, well, Prince Regent Aemond, saying, hey, either you come through on your dragon, or we're gonna kick it here at this inn for a while. Now, Aemond's rightfully pissed by the time he received this news, but I'm gonna shoot my man Lannister some bail here. By now, the word of Rook's Rest has to have traveled all the way around the realm, right? So now that I know that dragons are at war, I'm not stepping on no battlefield if I don't got a dragon. They bought a lion, but that was just for aesthetics. That's like when the University of Georgia pulls out their bulldog. That bulldog's not there to like return kickoffs. He's there for aesthetics. So the request, while bold, made a lot of sense. Aemond didn't take it that way, obviously. And we can see he's immediately mad with power. Goes straight into I'm not an attack dog that you can call whenever you want. Direct tie to when Aegon was on the throne, kicking it with his buddies, or lickspittles. They're kicking around nicknames, the dragon word I can't say so early into the video. And since Aemond referenced it during that High Valyrian conversation, obviously he also heard the part where he got called an attack dog and didn't appreciate that very much. And then he starts sending away every member of his council one by one by one. He sent Tylan to go meet with the Triarchy. He sent Christian Cole to Harrenhal, even though his army is down horrendous. Everyone's still hurt, which Aemond knows because he was there. And his dragon falling on everyone has a lot to do with the reason why they're hurt. Just shipping them off one by one by one. And then in the following scene, he not only fires his mother, he tells her to get back in the kitchen. Is that a direct quote? No. He said go focus on more domestic duties. What the hell else does that mean? The patriarchy has been uppercutting the shit out of Alicent for this entire season. Now, while a part of me finds this delicious, the other part of me kind of feels bad for her because she ain't know no better. She was just listening to her dad. But now that she's grown, I gotta hit her with the Francesca Lee. And in that scene, if you notice, when Alicent went to touch his face and was like, man, you gotta let some of that hurt go, man. You gotta let that go. For a split second, because Ewan Mitchell was an incredible actor, you can see she almost got him. He almost broke, but then he got back in that mode. We go on over next to the small Black Council meeting scene. Big Corlys in his first meeting as the Hand of the Queen, the first ever Hand of the Queen. And last week, everyone was making jokes. Well, in the Dem Thrones Twitter, Dem Dragons Twitter was making jokes. Now, Sister Albastine, her grandmother and your grandmother, they were sisters in relation to the whole dragon seed beginning thing that happened at the end of last episode. Well, apparently that wasn't a joke. That was actually Rhaenyra's plan. And Sir Stefan Darkland was the first victim because his 3 times great grandmother happened to be a Targaryen. So we done cut the dope up at least 3 different times at this point. He's more than willing to give it a shot. And I've seen a lot of people calling him dumb for this, but I want everyone under the sound of my voice to be honest. If someone said there was even a 1% chance that you will get a dragon, you're trying it. Don't you lie. You're gonna try it. You're gonna give it a shot. It's either you get to ride something that they thought were gods, or you die. It's a win-win situation. Then we get to Daemon, who's still in Harrenhal tripping. That ayahuasca skill hitting him with an uppercut. This is why I don't do psychedelics, or any drugs for that matter. We finally get a Viserys scene. I feel like we've known it was coming the whole time. That was kind of the last step on his little retribution tour. But it's still pretty well played if I say so myself. Now, at first, I thought it was a digital reskin like they did with Spider-Man No Way Home with the Lizard and Sandman, because they were redoing the lines from episode 1, the Air for a Day thing, and I'm thinking, oh, come on, what, was Patty busy? Patty couldn't come through? and do the role he should have got an Emmy for? Is he still mad about it? But no, he actually came back, re-recorded it. The tone was different. The tenor was different. You could see that it wasn't as king commandingly as it appeared in that first episode. He was actually torn the hell up about it. Because if you're an older brother, you know this. That's still a little bro. That's still your little sibling. Even if he is a fuck up, you still love him to death. That's your guy. But then once Daemon breaks out of his trip and comes out the door, he put the knife to poor Simon Strong's neck. But then after having a full-blown meltdown in front of him, finally we thought he was gonna leave Harrenhal. Now I know the Harrenhal scenes have been pretty divisive, to say the least, among the fan base. Some people like it because they like witch stuff. Some people hate it because they want Daemon to get back in the field and be about that action. Me personally, I like watching characters exercise their demons in real time. And obviously they have therapy back then, so we gotta make do with what we got. But we see him leaving, and then we see the owl witch bastard lady, also known as Alice Rivers, catching him as he's trying to leave, continues the psychological breakdown on him, and at no point has Daemon questioned why she knows so much about him. Bad move by him. And even as he finished, at this point, 5-episode long ayahuasca trip, he's still on his, no, it's lies, it's salt tales, all this magic stuff is fake. My brother in Christ, if at this point you don't believe in magic, you just never will. But the scene ends with her saying, hey, chill out for a minute. Me and my owl gonna go take care of that Tully Lord for you. Just relax. And he agrees. I don't know why he trusts this owl witch bastard lady so much, but he agrees. But now we get the Sir Stefan trying to claim his dragon. Now we got the dragon keepers. I'm sure they have an official name. The people who tame the dragons and tend to the dragons. I'm sure they have an official job title, but we're gonna call them dragon keepers for today. They tried to sing the song to SeaSmoke that Daemon was singing to Vermithor at the last episode of season 1, but they ain't really got Daemon's pipes. I mean, harmonies just weren't hitting. The melodies weren't hitting the way they needed to hit. And they're sitting there telling Sir Stefan, don't be scared. Don't show fear. As if he ain't pissed all the way down his leg, fully rusted his armor by that point by the time SeaSmoke got to him. That's the real reason why SeaSmoke lit his ass on fire. He smelled that piss on him and said, nah, bro, you can't get on me all pissy. Lit him and the Dragon Keeper up. The Dragon Keeper slit his throat to make the process quicker because he didn't want burned to death. I halfway respect it. If you're listening to the podcast version of this, they found the actual translation of the song they were singing of SeaSmoke. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll put it on the screen. I'm not reading all this because the song don't even slap. How could you try to sing this to the dragon? It don't slap. You deserve to get burned. All right, hard cut to Driftmark, where Alyn and Addam, now that we know for sure, the Valyrian bastards, Alyn's still doing his thing, commanding the ship, taking off the barnacles. Must have been a lot of barnacles at this point. We're 5 episodes in and that ship has not left the bay. Oh, I forgot. Key detail that Alyn had the turban on looking like Busta Rhymes in the A-Rap Money video, and Corlys ain't even question it. He was like, you usually bald, but I ain't even gonna talk about it. Yeah, so first mate, I would say offered him the job, but Alyn asked, is this an offer or you commanding? And Corlys ain't even answered the question. He just said, yeah, show up tomorrow at 6. We get this sitcom ass scene where mommy madam that Aemond used to be snuggled up to, Sylvie, who dyed her hair. Key detail, don't know why she did such. She used to be a ginger, now she has black hair. I don't know, maybe that's relevant to the story, maybe it isn't. And the former handmaid that Aegon assaulted, I don't want to get copyright, I don't want to get a violation thing on YouTube, so we're gonna say assaulted, but y'all know what I mean. They're sitting there, man, sure are hungry here, and I know they eating good in the Red Keep. Very sitcom-y, but it worked. Back to Dragonstone we go, and I really wish I could remember the dude's name who was really pressing Rhaenyra and ended up getting fire slapped out of him. But me personally, I've never been more proud of Rhaenyra in my life because I've been waiting for her to slap the taste out of somebody's mouth because they've been trying her since she got the job. And she said it damn near verbatim. You know what? It's my fault that y'all forgot to fear me. That's on me. I should have put the fear of God in y'all from day one. And the White Worm, Mysaria, little venting session, little bonding session. Move fast forwarding here. We're gonna get back in order soon, don't worry. So I didn't know that they was having all the little tension going on between them until I consulted my lesbian council and asked them, yo, see, y'all saw the tension going on? And they were like, bro, I know you don't play in our league, but trust me, that's what our tension looks like. I said, all right, cool, y'all the experts. So apparently that's what lesbian tension looks like for the uninitiated. Anyways, they get another venting scene. We get that sword looks good on you. That part was pretty clear. Although at the time I was kind of just like, she's trying to hype her queen up. Last episode, they talked about how she ain't learned how to use a sword. So I thought maybe it was like a little callback to, hey, I know you didn't learn how to use a sword, but it looks natural on you, being a cheerful friend. But apparently not. Apparently she was trying to get the bumping boxes. We finally get to see how much the White Worm really moves the needle, because the same dude who heard the rumors in the pub gets to see the sheep get drawn by his face, and he is pissed. By the way, to the people in the Red Keep on King's Landing, pulling out a herd of sheep in front of a starving city, bad move by you. That's why y'all need Otto Hightower back. Bad move by you. Very bad PR move. But small folk are pissed. They are ready to riot. But Aemond don't care. They get to the small council with him, and he's like, what the hell they mad at me for? It's Rhaenyra's fault. Because she got the blockade up. I'm not starving them. Which technically he isn't wrong, but he also doesn't realize that that's not really important right now. You're the king. You supposed to be fixing the shit. You're not fixing it. So as far as I'm concerned, it's your fault. But the real highlight of this scene was him calling Larys a toad when they were talking about how he needs a hand. He was like, you're right, I do need a hand. Good advice by you. Larys thought he was being offered, and he was like, not you. Go find my granddad. By the way, Otto ain't been returning near Raven. Don't text me. Otto on vacation. He's not even in King's Land as far as I'm concerned. He's in Dorne. He's gone. Otto's using up all his PTO. He heard about the dragon being taken through the city, and he was like, you know what, bro? I'm cool. I'm cool. Whatever y'all got going on over there, my name Bennett, I ain't in it. But then, Maester Orwell, Black Maester, love to see it. If Ben Carson didn't make a fool of himself the past almost decade now, I'd be able to make these great comparisons to Ben Carson and him, but that would be insult to my man Black Maester, so I ain't gonna do that no more. Aegon's finally awake and conscious-ish, and Aemond get to pressing him. Very intimidating scene, very similar to, I'm not sure how much crossover there is between the people who watch and love House of the Dragon to the point where you made it this far in the video or podcast clip, and the people who've seen the movie Juice, but I'm gonna try to make the reference anyways. Remember that scene in Juice where Bishop is behind Q's locker after they kill was it after he killed Steel or after he killed Raheem? One of them. I ain't seen Juice in a minute, but after he killed one of them, and Tupac is just staring Q in his eye sockets right when he closed the locker. It felt a lot like that scene. Like, yeah, I'm dangerous, you know I'm dangerous, but I'm on you, and I dare you to say something. Then we get to Rhaena, who sees very clear dragon marking on the veil, foreshadowing to something if I get into too much is a book spoiler, so I'm not gonna do that to y'all, but there's a dragon in the veil. That's a wild dragon that you'll see later. Then we get to finally the official confirmation on the show that the Alyn and Addam are Corlys Velaryon's bastards, starting with Addam giving himself a taper fade or ball fade with the razor, getting that blonde hair up off his head, and showing that our guy SeaSnake may be a little colorist because he shows Alyn all type of love. Meanwhile, Addam over there with the black hair, and he don't even look his way. A key detail that I didn't even notice at first, I had to see Screen Crush actually pointed this out, and I didn't even peep it. When they said you can see how poor they are because he wasn't cutting his hair in a mirror, he was doing it in the back of a plate. I was like, ooh, good touch, good catch, because I definitely would not have caught that. And we get to the Jason Rhaenyra scene, which I found hilarious because if I heard my mom slap fire out of somebody in the building, that's how I'd approach her too. Be like, hey, so Castle talking, you ask my man, what if 5 fingers say to the face? Care to explain? And then she get back on her whole, this is what, speech number 5 of the season of they don't respect me because I'm a woman scene. Not downplaying whether that's right or not. I'm just saying they keep reiterating the same point. Like, writers, we get it. We get it. I understand. Jace brings up Daemon. Apparently that hit Rhaenyra in the button. She get the spaz until all of a sudden the White Worm come back. The tension appears back on the screen, which again, thank you Lesbian Council. I would not have peeped that myself. And he said, hey, our gift is sent. What is the gift, you ask? Rhaenyra and the White Worm apparently downloaded Instacart and sent over all the groceries they had on Dragonstone on over to King's Landing. Very important for a couple minutes from now. We get Alicent and Gwayne, who they get to chopping it up because Alicent really wanted to holler at Christian Cole, but he ain't really got nothing for it the second. A scene where they get to go back and forth about Alicent realizing she's a shitty mom because the one kid she didn't raise, Daron, is actually an incredible person. Gwayne said, yeah, man, he got all the women out there. He plays the lute. He good with a sword, a nice person. And he used a word I had to look up the meaning of. Word was salubrious. Thank you, Merriam-Webster. Favorable to or promoting health or well-being. So, hey, learn a new word. I would say SAT word, but I'm damn near 30 and I have no intention of taking anything SAT related between now and by the time I'm dead. So hey, I just know another big word for no reason. Thanks, Gwayne. Alicent then continues the I'm a shitty mother tour by being by Aegon's bedside as he's sitting there fighting for his life. Now she in tears talking about some I'm sorry as if it's not 20 years goddamn too late for that. And then she does what she usually does when she try and act all high and mighty and say, hey, maybe we should go to church. Let me go grab Helena. If she's not too busy talking to her bugs, she can throw on her little garb and we can go light a candle or two for all of our fallen soldiers and our almost fallen soldier in Aegon. But before the candle wick is even halfway lit, the Small Folk Riot has already begun. And this might be my favorite scene of the season for a couple reasons. Number one, my man Hugh knocked the Sonic rings out of motherfucker over some carrots, which makes me think the Westeros carrots have to slap. Because remember, when Alyn came off of his long trip, what's the first thing he asked Addam about in that stew? Does it have carrots? Carrots in Westeros have to slap. They throwing food at the queen, which poor waste of resources. Y'all just got the food, now you're throwing it at her. And all I'm thinking the whole time is y'all better not lay a finger on Helena. She's done nothing to deserve this. She's lost a child. But of course that didn't help. She got hit with some food too. It was so crazy. They chopping niggas hands off. They get the bum rushing them. They barely made it to the, oh man, what a scene. Then we get to Aegon and Larys, where Aegon's like, hey, hold off on the milk of the poppy. Because he remembers what happened to Viserys. When Viserys was going off that milk of the poppy, he couldn't really have his facilities together. He's like, hey, you can't afford to do that. You only got but so many brain cells as it is. So we can't continue to fuck your mind up. We got to make sure you stay on your P's and Q's. And then he goes full blown into a soliloquy that honestly was very Shakespeare-esque. The common comparisons for all Game of Thrones shows is like Lord of the Rings meets Shakespeare. And I feel like this scene was them just fully leaning into the whole Shakespeare thing. If I could play Larys' whole speech without getting copyright struck, I would, because it was really good. Who's the actor that plays Larys? Hold that thought, y'all. Matthew Needham, you actor you thespian you absolutely bodied this scene. It's like this is the scene they told him before the season, hey, here's your soliloquy, we gonna need you to knock it out the park. And he's been practicing it in the mirror since day one. Then we get our second Viserys scene where I guess Daemon finally fully exercises his demon, hugs Viserys like, bro, I'm sorry, I fucked up. I should have been there to come for you when your wife died. You're right, I'm a terrible person and a terrible brother, but I'm here now. And after his demon was fully exercised, finds out that Fat Lord Tully's dead now. And the only person he has to negotiate with to get the Riverlands on his side is a teenager. Win for Daemon. All right, now for the scene of the episode. We see Addam on the beach. He collecting stuff. Then we see SeaSmoke flying above. In a scene with a dragon in it, we somehow get one of the more realistic scenes in Game of Thrones history where Addam ain't asked no questions. He look around, he's seen the dragon, he got to kicking it. Just full blown kicking it. And shout out to him, because when a lot of actors run in shows, they look like they've never ran before in their life. The actor that plays Addam, he got loose. Hey, he done ran before. He done ran a couple times. Shout out to Quentin Liberty. He got low. But alas, he thought he was fast, but SeaSmoke was faster. He thought he got high, but SeaSmoke pulled up on him and was like, I like you and I want you. Now we could do this the easy way or we could do this the hard way. And now we got a black man on a dragon. It's been a while, but now we back. But I did have to ask a couple questions. Number one, after being told earlier in the episode by your brother, stop waiting on a miracle that's not gonna happen, and then you get a fucking dragon later that day, how insufferable are you gonna be when you see your brother again? Because I know me, I'd be a 20 out of 20 on the insufferable scale. Fuck, I'd be a 50 out of 10. Like full blown insufferable. I'm landing the dragon in front of the crib and making you look at it all day long. Follow-up question, kind of related to that one. We've seen how the Targaryens live with their dragons, right? They got pits, they got caretakers, they got sheep, they take care of it. What do you do if you're just a regular nigga with a dragon? Like, where do you house your dragon? What do you feed your dragon? Logistically, we'll figure this out later. And lastly, this is a question for everyone under the sound of my voice. If you got a dragon, where's the first place you're flying to? Because I had to think about this one too. Because my first thought was my mama's house, but then completely out of the question, my mom fuck around faint and she see me on the back of a dragon. She don't play that shit. So I'm thinking I fly the dragon back to Freestyle Sierra Leone and let the kids get inspired to see me on a dragon back, and then I'm gonna get the kids a ride if SeaSmoke is with it. If not, y'all gonna have to relax. I ain't trying to get y'all thrown off midair. All right, last scene of the episode, we get Rhaenyra and the White Worm just trauma dumping on each other relentlessly. It starts with a shit on Daemon session, and then Rhaenyra gets to the whole we're two halves of a whole, he's my better half, other half type thing. Gets real mushy. He was what I always wanted to be, I was what he always wanted to be type shit. And White Worm wasn't trying to hear all that. She get the dump of her trauma too, about how her dad still not trying to get violation struck, assaulted her, impregnated her, and then tried to terminate it. Really hard trying to talk around this one. And that's how she got the scar around her neck. And in the middle of said trauma dumping, they share a very deep embrace. The music cuts and the hug goes a little longer than we expect. And then they start making out. And I was thrown off for a second because again, I ain't pick up on the vibes. But upon my second rewatch, after consulting my lesbian counsel, I was like, I should have seen it coming. That's what I get for being a straight man. I ain't see the vision, but the vision was there. And in the middle of them about to really start getting it on for real, someone busts in through the screen and is like, hey, SeaSmoke got a rider. What? She asks who, and for the Rhaenyra might be a racist crowd. I'm not saying you're right, but I am saying she's not doing a good job of proving that you're wrong. Because the dude says we couldn't see who the rider was from below. Now this could mean a couple of things, but as a chocolatey dark-skinned black man myself, I know how I interpreted that line. And by the looks of Rhaenyra's face, I feel like she interpreted it the same way. Because this is now the second time we've seen her get on Cyrax throughout the entire course of this season. So that means the two things that influence her to fly out and go set the tone is the death of her child and the possibility of a nigga on a dragon. If I don't tell you everything you need to know about Rhaenyra, I don't know what will. Just saying. Obviously, I'm being facetious, but I really enjoyed this week's episode. I cannot wait for episodes 7 and 8. Can't believe we're 2 weeks into it. And then we're not going to have this show again until 2026. So enjoy it, savor it, rewatch as many episodes as you can, rewatch as many breakdowns as you can. Hell, when you watch the episodes again, rewatch my breakdowns. I should start putting these in a playlist. I'm going to put these in a playlist and it'll be on the end screen that you'll see right after this. Thanks for watching.